In this video tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate how to insert the banner image that we made in the previous video into the background of a header in a web page. So in the sample web page that you see here on the screen, it has a body tag. We have a div with an ID of header. We're using an inner div technique here, which was discussed earlier. In this video tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate how to insert the banner image that we made in the previous video into the background of a header in a web page. So in the sample web page that you see here on the screen, it has a body tag. We have a div with an ID of header. We're using an inner div technique here, which was discussed earlier. And inside of this header there is an H1 that identifies the web page as a Grand Canyon Adventure page. For simplicity's sake, you'll notice that I have created an embedded style sheet here in the head section of the document, and I have identified the header div itself that we're going to structure. So with all of the settings set up, I'm going to begin to add CSS code that will bring the image in and then make it look the way I want it to look. So to begin with here, I've gone ahead and brought in the background image itself, and again it's just background image URL and then pointing to where the file has been saved out into my images folder. Having accomplished that, I'm now ready to bring in the next piece. One of the things I want to make sure happens is as the image is brought in, it is not going to repeat nor tile across it. I've made the image large enough so that that shouldn't be needed. So this command simply says, put the image in once and don't repeat it again. The next thing that I'm going to add is a specific height. Now my banner image is slightly taller than this, but that's okay. I'm simply limiting the height of my header to 2 inches. And again, that would be as per my design. If your design was different, then obviously that number would somehow be changed. The next thing is I'm telling it where to put the picture. Now remember, my picture is 1800 pixels wide. It's about 3 inches tall. So what I'm saying is when the image comes into the background, I want its top right-hand corner to be linked to the top right-hand corner of the header div itself. And that way, as the resolution of the screen gets wider, more of the image will be revealed, but from the left-hand side rather than from the right-hand side. The next thing I'm doing is implementing a little bit of CSS3 to give my image some rounded corners. So in this case, border radius, which by the way is not yet supported by any browser, but is looking forward to regular CSS3 support, says on all 4 corners of the header div, I want you to add a radius of about 8 pixels. And then to make it useful in today's market, I've gone ahead and added 2 other proprietary commands, the Moz border radius and the WebKit border radius, which will do the exact same thing, except the Moz, of course, means it's supported by the Mozilla browser, which is Firefox. WebKit will give it the same rounded corners, but in Safari or in Google Chrome. Notice that there isn't anything here that would be supported by Internet Explorer. And finally, the last thing I'm going to do is set up some padding inside of it so that anything, in this case, the H1, will not sit right against the edge, but rather will be inset a little bit from the edges and thereby not fight anything else that is on the edge. So with this code in place, what we now have is a background image being put in. It will not repeat. It has a position at the top right-hand corner and some rounded corners and a little bit of padding. So if I save this and go ahead and put it up to my server, the end result is that when I go out and I preview the file, this is what we end up with. You'll notice the nice rounded corners, and as the file enlarges, it slides from the left-hand side to reveal it, and it is anchored at the right-hand side. I hope that that's helpful to you and you understand now how you can implement some code in order to put a background image in to a header on your web page and make it look like a nice banner. Hope this is helpful to you. Thanks for listening.